I see so many entrepreneurs boom and bust. They made millions, they talk about how they're making millions, and then 2 years later, they've closed their business, they've declared bankruptcy, they rent the penthouse, and then the next thing you know, they're having to crash on a friend's couch. For me, this is my ninth year in business. I'm entering my ninth year as an entrepreneur. It's beginning of 2024. One of my therapists shared to me, and by the way, I have a big support network, a spiritual coach, two therapists, business mastermind with seven-figure agency owners, another business mastermind with a bunch of different types of business owners, and then a sixth in-person men's group where over half of them are entrepreneurs and the other half are high-performing, non-entrepreneurial men. So when I'm making decisions and navigating life, I see myself, I'm like in the middle, and then these six support systems are around me. It's almost like a king with his seat of advisors. I'd highly recommend it. But anyways, one told me that, like, Sean, you're actually like the tortoise, not the hare. And although that isn't necessarily ego enhancing, because people's ego generally wants to have the fast success, the flashy fast success. But he reflected that I'm the tortoise, constantly, steadily, relentlessly moving towards my goals and always getting there and very rarely slipping back. And when I look at my business journey, that's exactly what's happened. And really, it's only been the last couple of years where I've made a very comfortable level of income. Last year, my bottom line net take-home profit was about $225,000. This year, it's going to be at least $300,000 net profit, if not more. And I'm finally starting to see that exponential growth of my agency and my business. And what's crazy is that the first 6-7 years, I always earned enough money to live relatively comfortably. I do live in an expensive city, but I was never making crazy amounts of money. And I was building my business in a very sustainable way, long-term organic content, long relationships, and really prioritizing my client success. It's crazy to think it's been 9 years since I quit my job at the accounting firm and became a full-time entrepreneur. And finally, I'm starting to realize a very high level of financial abundance. I actually wouldn't have it any other way. Another way to look at this is I love looking at life being a battle against entropy. So entropy, it's a scientific theory that talks about how if matter, things, anything is left to its own devices, it's just going to spread out and become chaos. It's like if you stir ink into water, it's going to be a homogeneous just mixture of everything. And in order to create order, which a business, a successful life is this order where you have a machine that earns money, you're healthy, you have an awesome apartment, friends, family, whatever you want. It's a high degree of order, which is against the default path of the universe, which is towards entropy. And I always think that the slower it takes for you to reach true success, the better you have had to become in defending against the encroaching entropy that's coming at you from all angles. Whereas if you achieve success really fast, then you haven't had to practice staving off the entropy as long as someone who got there slowly. It's like people that win the lottery usually go back to being broke after a couple of years, because with all that money, don't fool yourself. Entropy is still going to come at you, and you're still going to have to defend against the natural tendency for your life to just become average and chaotic, like most people's lives are. So the fact that it's taken me, 8 or 9 years for my business to reach a place where it's really earning me a comfortable level of bottom line profit means that it's so stable. It would be so unlikely that my business will fall and fail. That's a really powerful place to be. It's a very safe, secure, empowering place to be. I watched one of Hormozi's recent videos where he breaks down some rich and famous people. I think Taylor Swift, Joe Rogan, The Rock. His number one main point he drives home for all of them, he calls it longevity. And what he's saying is that for all of them, they basically all did like 10 years of inner work, working on the thing that they became famous for before they became really famous for doing it. So it's that longevity. And I see that in my own business journey where I've done almost a decade of work of being in the game, in the arena, full-time entrepreneur, learning, growing. Throughout that almost decade, I've seen like linear steady growth. And it's only now, really these past couple of months, that I just feel this energy of exponential growth coming. It's hard to fake that. It's hard to shortcut that. What makes it harder is that the world we live in, where on YouTube you have people who are promising that you're going to be making 10K a month after a few months, and you're going to be making 100K a month of profit after a few months or maybe after a year. People's expectations are totally skewed. You have big influencers in the SMMA agency space. We have Iman, who lives a very, very extravagant, flashy lifestyle and is very, very intriguing, especially for younger men. And he sells an agency course. Then we have guys like Joel Kaplan, who I went through his program many years ago. He also loves highlighting pretty extreme success stories where you have teenagers, making 500K a year profit. Those are the two big SMMA influencers I'm aware of. And there's a lot of other smaller influencers as well. But all of them are just putting forth this narrative that it's way easier than it is. What you need to remember is that this whole world of YouTube business people, business gurus is like 1 or 2% of all of the successful people in the world. Most successful people, 98% of them that are multimillionaires, that are billionaires, don't have YouTube channels and aren't selling you anything or communicating to the masses the way that the gurus you follow are. So what you're watching is just one small way of achieving success. But the problem is that the 2% of highly successful people that choose to be very public teach how to achieve business success. That is what everyone sees. So people assume that's the only way to achieve success is through these few different avenues, like agency, Amazon FBA, dropshipping, Airbnb, YouTube cash flow arbitrage. Like there's kind of like 10 different schemes and business models that all of the gurus talk about. And if you're like, a 23-year-old guy who wants to work for himself and you log onto YouTube, you're going to think that, hey, like these 10 business models are the only viable ones that exist. But that's not true. That's literally only 2% of all the possible business models you can do. And most men and women who build a great legacy and a great empire actually did something completely different. I have a friend who building an incredible amount of wealth in the hydrogen energy space. We don't catch up that often, but when we do, when I sit down with him on occasion, I can't help but think to myself how different everything he says is to what these YouTube business influencers talk about and how it's such a bubble, this YouTube make money online space really is. If I was back in my early 20s, what I would do is, yes, I would consume business content. Some people are better than other. I personally love Hormozi's content. I think he makes really valuable stuff. But even Hormozi is still in this ecosystem of online business influencers. So in addition to consuming that stuff, actually meet traditional business owners that are completely outside this realm of online make money from YouTube community, because you're not getting the full picture. Bringing back to the first point I talked about, the classic tortoise and hare analogy, the reason why so many young people are either failing to get their business started, or maybe they achieve success and they're earning a bunch of revenue, but the profit margins are terrible and then it goes bankrupt, is because they're only consuming this one method, which tends to be very over sensationalized. And it talks all about the upside and doesn't talk about the fact that these business models are becoming very, very saturated and there's actually a lot of downside. Another thing that happens, which is, it's funny, my background is in accounting, is you'll see these gurus say, hey, we made $600,000 this month. And what they actually meant is that their business generated $600,000 of revenue. They don't tell you what their net profit is, because generating revenue is not making money. Making money is net bottom line profit. So that's another thing to be careful of. I want to clarify, I'm not saying these influencers are wrong. In fact, if it wasn't for these YouTube influencers, I may not be where I am today. I was a frustrated, lonely accountant, and then I saw Tai Lopez's ads, his famous look at my garage, and I got sucked into that. And you know what? There was enough truth in that advertisement and in what Tai was talking about that it worked for me eventually. It's funny, Tai Lopez was one of the OG original business gurus and influencers, and he actually was the one that coined this whole SMMA industry originally. My favorite thing he's ever said is that people get patience all wrong. Most people are patient before they start their business. They wait a long time to start. And then once they start, they're very impatient. They expect to be making a lot of money within the first 6 months. And what he says is flip that. Be impatient to start. So start your business as young and as soon as you can. And then once you've started it, be very patient. Expect it to take many years to reach the profitability that you want. And that is incredibly potent advice. And it's so true. If I could go back and say one of the best things I did was starting young. I quit my job at 26 years old. I started my business, and that was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Because I started so young, I gave myself a decade before the business really picks up, and that's okay. So be impatient to start your business, and then once you start it, be very patient and give it a long time to reach true success. All right, guys, that was a bit of a rant. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.